She lost me in one night. My letter made her lose herself for years. The rain had started without warning, tapping against the car roof in a rhythm that felt like my heartbeat, uneasy, anxious, restrained. I stared at my phone, the screen glowing with her last message. "I'll be working late tonight." Ordinary words, safe words. But something in her tone, captured in the subtle tilt of the text, made my chest tighten. I didn't know it yet, but that night, everything would fracture. I arrived at the office, holding a small box, her favorite chocolate, and a note I'd written hours earlier. My plan was simple: surprise her, remind her she mattered. I expected a smile, a gentle word, a warmth that made the day's weight easier to bear. Instead, the receptionist's face froze as I stepped in. Her eyes flicked to the back office, where laughter, soft, intimate, unmistakable, echoed. I moved closer, every step measured, every breath contained. My mind calculated escape routes, confrontation angles, but my body betrayed me with a heaviness that made my chest ache. And then I saw them. She wasn't alone, not by a mile. The man sitting across from her wasn't just a colleague, he was him. My mind screamed, but my voice stayed buried. My heart, however, made its own language, a cold, quiet pulse of betrayal. I stepped back, letting the box drop from my fingers. Chocolate scattered across the polished floor. She didn't look up. She didn't notice me. Not yet. I left the office without a word, letting the storm swallow me as the city lights blurred through the windshield. My mind replayed every interaction we'd had in the last months. The soft touches she reserved for me, the subtle glances, the way her hand lingered when she thought I wasn't watching. Every memory now had a shadow. I didn't call her that night. I didn't text. I drove for hours, tracing the old roads where we had once laughed, once planned a life that now felt like someone else's dream. At home, I sifted through evidence I didn't yet fully trust: phone logs, emails, social media tags. Nothing explicit, nothing criminal, but the patterns were there. A meeting that lasted hours, canceled plans, the faint scent of another man on her coat. Denial wrestled with rage. Could I be wrong? No. The sight at the office was undeniable. The laughter, the proximity, the way she looked at him, it burned into me, a frozen flame. I paced. The apartment felt smaller, heavier. Each room whispered questions. Why? How long? Did she ever care? Then the letter came to mind. I had written one months ago, anticipating the worst, knowing that, if trust broke, if her heart strayed, I needed a record of truth. Not to punish, not yet, but to preserve the clarity I would need when the time came. The betrayal wasn't loud, it was silent. It crept into every corner of my life, coating every memory with ash. And I knew, in that quiet storm of emotion, that the game had changed. The next week was a slow burn. I moved with precision, observation replacing instinct. Each phone call she made, each message I intercepted, became a thread. I traced her patterns, her excuses, her inconsistencies. I didn't confront her, I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I watched, silently. I noted, I cataloged. The DNA tests I ordered, small, innocuous, wrapped as health kits, were designed to confirm what I already suspected: that betrayal wasn't just emotional. The man she met with, the late nights, the secret smiles. This was a web I needed to untangle before I struck. At work, I maintained calm. Colleagues noticed nothing. My face was serene, detached. But underneath, the storm churned. I imagined the confrontation, rehearsed every line, every movement. Every scenario played in my mind like a film I controlled. Her texts came in, innocent in tone. I responded minimally, my silence louder than words. Every lie she told, Every half-truth added fuel. The more I saw, the colder I became. One evening, she left her phone on the table while bathing. I didn't touch it at first, calculated patience. But curiosity, necessity, and preparation outweighed restraint. The messages confirmed it. Meetings, innuendos, promises she had made to him while pretending to love me. I placed the phone back, untouched by emotion, but aware that the trap was ready. My inner monologue was calm, icy. Let her think she has control. Let her believe the deception is safe. Then, precision. The letter, folded neatly in my drawer, awaited its moment. Every word I had written was designed to break her, not physically, not violently, but in a way she couldn't undo. The evidence arrived one morning, a package of documents, screenshots, and recordings I had methodically compiled. No ambiguity, no lies, just truth. I confronted her not with a shout, not with tears, but with the quiet authority of inevitability. "Read this," I said, placing the envelope on the kitchen counter. My voice was low, even, detached. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. Her eyes widened as the words, the photos, the proofs settled in. I said nothing. I only watched. She looked at me then, not with love, not with guilt, not even with anger, but with shock. Complete, utter disbelief that the quiet man she had underestimated could orchestrate such precision. The room was heavy with silence. The betrayal she had thought safe, hidden behind smiles and excuses, was now exposed. Her lips moved, but no words came. She tried to explain, to justify, to plead, but the calm in my gaze erased every argument before it began. I allowed a single line. "You chose him, and this is your life now." No more words, no more arguments. The letter had done its work before she even opened it. My presence, my detachment, was a hammer striking slowly, deliberately. Weeks later, she called. I didn't answer, not once. Months passed. She tried to reach me through friends, family, mutual contacts. Each attempt was met with silence. And then, finally, she read the letter in its entirety. Carefully, agonizingly, painfully. The effect was as intended. She was forced to confront herself, her choices, her deception alone. Her lips moved, but no words came. She tried to explain, to justify, to plead, but the calm in my gaze erased every argument before it began. I allowed a single line. "You chose him, and this is your life now." No more words, no more arguments. The letter had done its work before she even opened it. My presence, my detachment, was a hammer striking slowly, deliberately. Weeks later, she called. I didn't answer, not once. Months passed. She tried to reach me through friends, family, mutual contacts. Each attempt was met with silence. And then, finally, she read the letter in its entirety. Carefully, agonizingly, painfully. The effect was as intended. She was forced to confront herself, her choices, her deception alone. The pride she had worn like armor was stripped. Her confidence crumbled. I never returned. I walked away from the apartment, from the life we had shared, from the illusions she had created. I left no traces, save for the letter, which had become her constant companion and tormentor. I imagined her reading, rereading, wondering what had been lost, what had been her fault. The silence from me was louder than any confrontation could have been. My revenge was not loud. It was complete, silent, precise, psychological. The years that followed, she never found me, never confronted me, never recovered the control she thought she had. I moved into a new life, distant cities, new faces, different routines. I carried no anger with me, only clarity. The storm had passed, leaving calm in its wake. I reflected on what had been lost, the love I had given, the trust I had offered, the years that could have been. But reflection was not regret. It was strategy, experience, power. The letter had done what confrontation could not. It had stripped her of illusions, of pride, of control. And in that, I found my closure. I walked streets that knew nothing of her. I sipped coffee in cafes where no one remembered our laughter. I breathed freely, without deception, without fear, without attachment. And sometimes, late at night, I imagined her holding the letter, realizing fully what she had lost. I felt no joy in her suffering, only the quiet satisfaction of inevitability. The man she had chosen, the choices she had made, the secrets she had kept, they belonged to her alone now. And I had reclaimed my life, my peace, my power. She had lost me in one night. My letter ensured she would lose herself for years. And in that knowledge, I was free.